You've been married for 12 years. 2 kids, a house you're still paying off, a routine you built together brick by brick. It's not perfect. You fight sometimes, go weeks without touching other times, but there's a foundation there. A shared history, an entire life. You come home early on an ordinary Tuesday, a client canceled a meeting, you decided to surprise her. You'll make that dinner she loves so much, maybe open a bottle of wine, reconnect a little. When you open the bedroom door, you find your wife in bed with another man. The next 5 seconds are going to define the next 5 years of your life. What do? Stop! Before you answer automatically, I need you to understand what's happening inside you right now. If you felt something reading that scenario, if your body reacted in any way, if your heart raced or your stomach tightened, you're experiencing what neuroscientists call amygdala hijack. Your limbic system just took control from your prefrontal cortex. The part of your brain responsible for rational decisions was temporarily shut down by the part responsible for survival and emotion. That's why people do things in moments like this that destroy their lives forever. Not because they're bad people, because they're people who lost access to rationality for a few crucial seconds. Scenario 1, the violence instinct. Your body moves before your mind processes what it's seeing. You lunge at the man, maybe a punch, maybe more. The rage you feel isn't thought, it's pure chemistry, it's adrenaline and cortisol flooding your system in amounts you've never experienced before. You want to cause pain because you're feeling pain. If that was your instinctive reaction, you're not alone. Aggressive behavior researchers have documented that the attack response is one of the most primitive reactions to perceived territorial threat. And romantic partners activate the same territorial brain circuits our ancestors used to defend physical resources thousands of years ago. But here's the problem you're not considering in that moment. Assault is a crime. If you break that man's nose, you can be criminally prosecuted. If you go too far in the heat of the moment, you can go to prison. Your wife betrayed you, but you're the one who'll have a criminal record. She'll get the house, the kids, the narrative of a victim married to a violent and uncontrolled man. 5 seconds of losing control. Years of consequences. Scenario 2, the flight instinct. You freeze completely. Your body doesn't move. You watch the scene as if it's happening to someone else. Like a bad movie you can't stop watching. Then, without saying a single word, you turn around and leave. You get in the car, drive nowhere for hours, end up in an empty parking lot trying to process what you just saw. If that was your reaction, you experienced what psychologists call the dissociation response. Your brain decided reality was too traumatic to process in real time, so it created an artificial distance between you and the event. It's a protection mechanism. It's also a mechanism that can leave you emotionally paralyzed for months. People who flee in the moment often report intense regret afterward. They feel they should have said something, done something, confronted the situation. Flight protects in the short term but can feed obsessive rumination and repressed anger in the long term. Scenario 3, the control instinct. You don't lunge, don't flee. You stand in the doorway and say, with a calm that scares you, something like, "Get dressed, we need to talk," or "You have 15 minutes to get out of my house," or simply, "I saw everything I needed to see." If that was your reaction, you demonstrated capacity for emotional regulation under extreme stress. Your prefrontal cortex managed to maintain control even with the amygdala on high alert. That's rare, and it can be both a gift and a symptom of something deeper. People with high emotional control capacity in crises sometimes pay the price later. The emotion that wasn't expressed in the moment doesn't magically disappear. It stays stored somewhere, processing in the background, and can emerge weeks or months later in completely unexpected ways. Seemingly disproportionate explosions, anxiety attacks, chronic insomnia. Control in the moment doesn't mean trauma resolution. It only means postponement. But the most disturbing question isn't what you do in the first 5 seconds. It's what you do in the next 5 weeks. Let's assume you weren't violent, didn't get arrested, didn't do anything irreversible in the moment. Now you're home alone or in a cheap hotel room, and you need to decide what to do with your 12-year marriage. Do you forgive? Infidelity research is far more complicated than moralistic speeches suggest. Couples therapist Perel, who spent decades studying betrayal, documented in her book, The State of Affairs, that many marriages not only survive infidelity, but become significantly stronger afterward. The crisis forces conversations the couple avoided for years. The betrayal becomes the earthquake that exposes the structural flaws that existed long before anyone sought someone else. But other marriages never recover, no matter how much effort is invested. Trust, once broken this way, simply doesn't come back with words or promises. Some people manage to forgive intellectually but can't forget emotionally. And living with someone you can't forget betrayed you is a very specific kind of prison. The question isn't whether you should forgive, it's whether you can. And you'll only discover the answer by trying. Darkest scenario. And this one will reveal something about you that you might prefer not to admit. You decide to forgive. You go to couples therapy, have the difficult conversations you avoided for years. She swears it was a terrible mistake. It's completely over. It will never happen again. You want to believe. You choose to believe. You invest in that rebuilding. 6 months later, you're at work and your phone buzzes. It's a message from an unknown number, a photo. Your wife, in the same car with the same man. She didn't stop. She just got more careful not to get caught. What you feel now isn't just betrayal. It's humiliation. You gave a second chance and she used that chance to make you look like a fool. You defended her to your friends and family who told you to leave. You were the understanding husband, the evolved one, who believes in forgiveness and second chances. And she was laughing at you the whole time. Now what do? If you felt a different kind of rage now, colder, more calculated, you experienced the transition from what psychologists call hot anger to cold anger. Hot anger is explosive, immediate, unthinking. Cold anger is planned, patient, vengeful. Cold anger is infinitely more dangerous. It's what leads people to systematically destroy reputations, secretly drain bank accounts, use children as weapons in contentious divorces. It's an anger that doesn't seek to express pain, it seeks to cause equivalent or greater pain. If you're planning how to make her suffer as much as you suffered, you've crossed an important line. I'm not saying she doesn't deserve consequences. I'm saying the person you'll become executing that revenge plan isn't the person you want to be when all this is over. What this test revealed isn't whether you would tolerate betrayal. Nobody really knows that until it happens. What it revealed is how you process extreme relational pain. Some people explode outward and destroy everything around them. Others implode inward and destroy themselves. Some seek revenge, others seek understanding. Some can forgive, others can't. And honestly, neither option is morally superior to the other. Psychologist John Gottman, who studied marriages for over 40 years, identified that the strongest predictor of divorce after infidelity isn't the betrayal itself. It's contempt. If after the discovery you look at your partner and feel deep disgust, the marriage is probably over. If you can still see the person behind the mistake, there's a real chance for rebuilding. But a chance is just that, a chance, not a guarantee. If this video affected you because you've been through something like this, know that relational trauma research shows that the pain of betrayal can be neurologically as intense as the pain of grief. You're not exaggerating, what you felt was real. If it affected you because you're in a relationship now and paranoia surfaced, remember that most people don't cheat. Statistics vary considerably between studies, but most suggest infidelity affects between 20 and 40% of marriages. That means the majority of marriages don't go through this. And if it affected you because you're the one who cheated, know that people betray for complex reasons that rarely have to do with their partner's worth. Dissatisfaction with self, fear of aging, desperate search for validation, opportunity combined with emotional vulnerability. None of that is an excuse, but it can be an explanation. The question this video leaves doesn't have a universal answer. It only has your answer. And you'll only know it when, if ever, you open a door and find what you didn't expect to find. See you next time.